Whew. Wow. That was an event. Produced, written, and directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, Magnolia is a film that strings together multiple narrative threads for 3 hours and focuses on the theme of parental neglect and abuse. If there's two things PTA loves, it is dialogue and long takes that are oftentimes tracking shots. And I love me a good tracking shot, especially when it doesn't feel forced, because let me tell you, there are films out there that utilize that tracking shot. An example would be Star Trek II, where the camera tracks and you just know that it's, you know, it's been planned, it's been choreographed, and it looks choreographed. My only problem with some of the tracking and the editing in this film is that it feels more like he's copying off of Scorsese. I'm not saying he put that in there to be like Scorsese, but it's just that when I see that kind of stuff, it reminds me of Scorsese. But I do love the editing. Very fast in certain spots, and the flow is damn near perfect throughout. My one big issue with this film is how when the guy on the deathbed starts dishing out backstory, there isn't a single visual for it. We're literally just watching this actor have diarrhea of the mouth that the Wachowskis wrote the script. The performance isn't bad, not bad at all, but it does drastically slow the film down, and it did affect my overall experience. Ooh, and speaking of the performances, I think you know who I'm gonna bring up. Tom Cruise. Oh, wow, holy shit. He is Ethan Hunt, but this is the best performance I have ever seen him give. He just is this character, and if I didn't know any better, I'd say that being an actor is his cover. Philip Seymour Hoffman, a PTA regular, also turns in great work, as does John C. Reilly. And I wish Reilly would do more roles like this because he plays a cop really well. The only cast members who didn't impress, despite me liking them in general, were Moore and Macy. Macy's character, a former kid genius, is relevant to the overall theme, but his scenes are pretty random, and what he does while on screen doesn't generate the most intrigue. Moore is dealing with family drama and spends most of the time swearing her ass off and accusing people of being against her. Her scenes provided very little, and I think if she had been absent for most of, if not all of the film, it would have been a tighter piece overall. And John C. Reilly, as much as I liked him in this movie, his scenes were amazing. His voiceover comes off as really just pretentious cop talk. He wants to do good, he wants to be more than he is, and Anderson makes the audience basically his partner in crime. My final big conundrum with this film comes at the end when the kid from the game show approaches his father. It's an interaction that could have been really powerful, but for me, it fell flat. If anyone happened to walk in on the film at that point in time, the last thing I would think is, what had previously happened? But my favorite scenes were without question the ones with Tom Cruise. He gives these monologues, which are shot for the most part in one take, and it is just so hard not to get pulled in. The shower of frogs at the end is a peculiar topic, and I wasn't really quite sure what to make of it at the time when I was watching it. But as I've thought about it and its meaning and even looked it up, it all comes down to religion, I guess. Because the first person who gets hit by the frogs is the police officer, and we see him praying twice, and he seems to be the only, like, religious person in this movie. Some people would probably say, oh, that's weird and kind of random, but there is a religious undertone there, and while it is unexpected, it does bring the scene and the film overall to a nice close. One thing I will say though, not about the frogs, but about Tom Cruise's character, is I don't see the point in him saying and then emphasizing how he will drop kick the dogs if they come anywhere near him. It's the only scene with him anywhere near an animal, and yet he's all of a sudden threatening them. How that is relevant to anything is beyond me. But overall, man, as a whole, this film was quite the experience, and I do want to see it again. Maybe even buy it one day if the price is right. I mean, it only took me 13 years to see it, and I remember seeing the trailer when it came out. Really weird. I'm gonna give Magnolia 4 out of 5 stars. I was gonna give it 3.5, but I was never begging for the curtain call, and I think that says something. Thank you for your time. You have an awesome day. Pacha!